Well, keeping on the thought process of the IRS and Congress getting you to do certain things by incentivizing it, we're going to look at energy credits. And this is where Congress has decided it's good for you to use solar power or geothermal power or to drive an electric car. And so they're going to give you some free money in the form of tax credits to do just that. Let's take a look. So the energy credits, they're always changing. Some of them have expired and sometimes they're retroactively extended. So you got to really stay on top of it. The big ones that are still around are the electric vehicle credit and the residential energy efficient property. So we'll look at this one first. The electric vehicle credit can be anywhere from $2,500 to $7,500 credit. Remember, this is a credit. So you could get up to $7,500 just for buying a certain car. It's generally only good for the first $200,000 cars made by the manufacturer. And so you go to this website here, fueleconomy.gov, and it'll tell you what the credit is and how many cars are left before it'll run out. So if you're thinking of buying an electric vehicle, I'd highly recommend you check into this to see what the credits are for that. The other one they have is this residential energy efficient property. And this is where you get 30% credit. Again, this is a credit. This is great that you get for qualified property. There's no limit. So, if you get solar panels, it doesn't care how much it costs. If it's $200,000, you'll get a $60,000 credit for installing the solar panels. You must reduce your basis in the home by the credit allowed. So again, if you had $200,000 worth of solar panels added to your $100,000 home, now you might think you have a $300,000 basis, but you got to reduce it by the credit that was allowed, which 30% of 200,000 is 60,000. So now you would only have what would that be? The $240,000 basis in your home. And that kind of makes sense because your basis is designed to increase with things you pay for. Well, you didn't pay for 30% of it, the government did, so you don't get to add that to your basis. This is a non-refundable credit, so if you don't get to use that $60,000, then you're not going to get any of it back. So definitely need some planning here. If you're going to do something huge like 30% of $200,000, and you're going to get a $60,000 credit and you're only going to be able to use $5,000, maybe we want to do some planning on this. Maybe now is the time to sell some of those stocks that have really big gains so we can increase your taxes so we can use more of your tax credit. Just a little bit of planning you got to do. All right, so always check the irs.gov website before doing any of the energy things, thinking you're going to get a tax credit because they change frequently. So you really want to make sure that the credit is still around, and two, that you'll still qualify for it, because the people who are selling you whatever it is, they're not going to keep up with the latest and greatest. Well, they will, but they're not going to tell you when they phase out. So they might be telling you the absolute truth that this item qualifies for a $7,500 credit. Well, they're not going to tell you that it capped out 10,000 cars ago, so you're not going to get it. So you need to stay on top of it. So make sure you check those websites to see if you're going to be eligible for that credit before you buy anything that's energy efficient. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the last credit. It's the low income retirement credit. This is a pretty unique one. It gives you credit for saving for your own retirement.